Welcome to the Law Office of Bryan Fagan podcast, where we empower Texas families through knowledge and compassion.
Facing a divorce after you've dedicated years to being a stay-at-home parent, it's just terrifying, especially when you think about money. If you're someone who put your career on hold for the family, you're probably asking yourself, how am I going to make it on my own? This whole conversation, it really starts with that very human fear of the unknown.
So let's get right into it. How does spousal support for stay-at-home parents in Texas really work? There are so many myths flying around. Some people think it's a sure thing if you are a homemaker, and others think it's completely impossible to get. The truth? Well, it's not that black and white. It's somewhere in the middle, in a place that absolutely recognizes the sacrifices that you made.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to break down what Texas law actually says. We'll look at who is even eligible for support. We'll answer the big questions: how much and for how long? We'll compare going to court versus making a private agreement. And finally, we'll talk about the steps you can take to secure your financial future. First things first, the word alimony, it's not really a one-size-fits-all term here in Texas. To really get a handle on your options, you've got to understand 3 totally different types of support. Getting these straight is honestly the first step to figuring out your strategy.
All right, let's start with temporary spousal support. Think of this as a financial lifeline a judge can order while the divorce is still going on. It's there to help you pay the bills and keep things stable. Then you've got post-divorce spousal maintenance. This is what most people picture when they hear alimony. These are payments that happen after the divorce is all said and done. And this is where Texas law gets really, really strict.
Now, this third one, this is a biggie. It's called contractual alimony. A judge doesn't order this. Instead, it's a private, voluntary agreement that you and your spouse work out together. The key word here is flexibility. This approach lets you create solutions that a judge simply isn't allowed to order in a courtroom. It can be a real game changer. So, if you're hoping a judge will order that post-divorce maintenance for you, it's not as simple as just asking. You have to prove you are legally eligible. And believe me, Texas sets a very high bar. Before a judge even considers anything else, you have to get over this first massive hurdle. You have to show that after all the marital property is divided up, your share, your part of the house, the savings, any retirement accounts, is not enough to cover what the law calls your minimum reasonable needs. And let's be super clear, this is not about maintaining the lifestyle you had during the marriage. We're talking about the absolute basics: a roof over your head, food, gas in the car. If the judge thinks your assets can cover those things, your case for maintenance can be over before it even starts. Okay, so if you clear that property hurdle, you then have to qualify under one and only one of these 4 specific situations. The first one is the most common path for stay-at-home parents. Your marriage lasted at least 10 years, and you can't earn enough to cover your basic needs. The other 3 are for very serious situations. There is family violence, you have a disability that keeps you from working, or you're caring for a child of the marriage who has a disability. You have to fit into one of these boxes, period. Yeah, let's just park on this number for a second. 10 years. For so many people who've been out of the workforce raising a family, this is the magic number. It's the critical starting point. If your marriage is 9.5 years long, you'd have to qualify under one of those other more extreme circumstances. So that 10-year mark, it's often the gateway for even having this conversation about getting court-ordered support. All right, so let's say you do qualify. The next 2 questions are obvious, right? How much money are we talking about, and for how long can you get it? Texas law is very straightforward on this. It sets clear and pretty strict limits. A judge can order payments, but they are capped. The award can never be more than the lesser of 2 amounts: $5,000 a month or 20% of the paying spouse's average gross monthly income. So, for example, if your ex-spouse makes $10,000 a month gross, 20% is $2,000. That means even if you can prove you need more, the absolute most a judge can give you is $2,000 a month. That's a reality that surprises a lot of people. The length of time you can receive payments is also capped, and it's tied directly to how long you were married. For a marriage that lasted between 10 and 20 years, the absolute longest you can get support is 5 years. That goes up to 7 years for a 20 to 30-year marriage, and it only hits the maximum of 10 years for marriages that lasted over 3 decades. The whole idea here is that the support is supposed to be a temporary bridge to help you get back on your feet. It's not meant to be a permanent solution. And get this, even with a set time frame, the payments can stop early if certain things happen. Of course, they end when the time is up or if you or your ex-spouse passes away. They also stop immediately if the person getting the support remarries. But here's one that's unique to Texas: the cohabitation rule. If you start living with a new romantic partner, that maintenance obligation legally ends.
I know we are covering a ton of information, and these rules can seriously make your head spin. Every family situation is different, and trying to apply these laws to your life is where it gets really complicated. If you're looking for more detailed information about spousal support for stay-at-home parents in Texas, or you just want to talk through your own situation, please check out the free resources on our website.
So after hearing about all these strict rules and limitations, it kind of begs the question, right? Is there a better way to do this? And for a lot of people, the answer is a definite yes. It just means shifting your focus away from a courtroom battle and toward a negotiating table. So let's just compare these two paths side by side. Court-ordered maintenance is rigid. You've got those tough eligibility tests, and any award is going to be stuck inside those legal caps we talked about. The main upside is enforcement. A judge can hold someone in contempt for not paying. But contractual alimony, that's all about creative problem solving. You can agree to things a judge could never order. More money, a longer time frame, you name it. It gives you a level of freedom and certainty that a courtroom just can't match. Let me give you a quick real-world example of how this plays out. A woman, let's call her Maria, was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years. In the divorce, she got a few $100,000 in assets. The judge looked at that money and said, you know what, that's enough to cover your basic needs. And just like that, her request for spousal maintenance was denied. She didn't get past that first critical hurdle. But now, check this out. Contrast that with another case. A stay-at-home mom, married 14 years. A judge could have given her support for 5 years max. But through negotiation, her lawyer was able to secure a contractual alimony agreement for $3,000 a month for a full 10 years. That gave her the long-term stability she needed, an outcome a judge was legally forbidden from giving her. That's the power of negotiation. Okay, let's pull all this together. I want to boil this all down to the most important points for you to remember as you think about how to move forward and secure your own financial future. It is so important to be realistic about this. So let's bust two huge myths. First, the idea that stay-at-home parents automatically get support. The hard reality is that it's tough to get. In fact, in contested cases, only about 12% end with a judge awarding maintenance. The second myth is lifetime support. It does not exist in Texas, period. Court-ordered support is temporary, and that 10-year max is only for the longest of marriages. And this is why getting the right help is so critical. This area of law is complicated. How you present your case, how you demonstrate your needs, and especially how you negotiate. It all makes a huge difference. And the numbers don't lie. Research shows that having an experienced lawyer on your side can dramatically change the outcome, leading to support awards that are on average 35% higher. Look, you do not have to figure all this out on your own. Your years of dedication to your family have incredible value, and there are legal strategies to help you move into this next chapter of your life with financial stability. If you're ready to really understand your options and take control of your future, the best next step is to get personalized advice about spousal support for stay-at-home parents in Texas. Please call our office at 281-810-960 to schedule a free consultation. We've covered a lot today, from the nitty-gritty legal details to real-world strategies. But knowledge is only power if you use it. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Based on everything we've talked about, what's the very first small step you can take today to start protecting your financial stability? Thank you for listening to the Law Office of Bryan Fagan podcast, where families find freedom and peace of mind through education and expert legal care. For more information or to schedule your free consultation, visit our website or call 281-810-960 today.